And we are live. I'm pretty sure it's almost 9 o'clock, and I'm live. It's Heather Boyd Wire for the weekly live stream at Wire Lady TV. And again, like last week, I'm at the Nix Lab studio in the WeWork building downtown in Montreal. I don't know if I turn around, you might be able to see outside some of the buildings out there. We're right in the heart of downtown Montreal. So if you're hopping on the live stream, be sure to say hello. As last time, I don't have my laptop. Oh, Lydia's here. Hello, Lydia. Hi, Kathy. How are you? Yeah, as last time, I don't have my laptop, so I might have trouble checking the comments sometime. There's Peggy. Hey, Peggy. How are you? And yeah, I'm doing the live stream. We were actually watching a movie just now, and Kimmy says hello. Hey, Kimmy, how are you? And is it Aurelia? Oh boy, I have to get closer to the screen. And Joanna, wow, everybody's so punctual. My goodness, that's awesome. Yeah, my friend George, who runs Nix Labs in Montreal, has a movie night every Wednesday night. And so we were watching the movie Lost in Translation. It's a Bill Murray movie. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's a fantastic movie if you get a chance to see it at some point. And Mimi and I were downtown today buying coffee. We went to a new coffee shop, so I bought this amazing coffee. Smells so good from Brûlerie Balance. So it's a guy from Dominican Republic that opened a coffee roasting company, and it's so good. Bill Murray is one of my favorites. I know, isn't Bill Murray amazing? Yeah, I was telling George about the movie Meatballs way back in the day, and there's Jay. Hey Jay, you made it right on. Yeah, so whoever's a fan of Bill Murray, big thumbs up. So we're actually going to be watching more of his movies. I think Groundhog Day that George has planned to come up in the future. So that's pretty awesome. And yeah, so I'm going to flip my screen now, and we're going to get working on some flower rings. And I actually had a little announcement too, is that there's going to be no live stream next week because starting tomorrow, I'm doing 12 days in a row posting videos on how to make the astrology rings, the zodiac rings. So starting tomorrow at 9 a.m. in the morning, I'm going to post, I guess I'll start with Capricorn. Is that the one that comes first? I think so. Capricorn and then Aquarius. I know I did Aquarius last week, but this will be a better version of that. So that's next week. So Peggy says when my daughter was 2, she wanted to watch Groundhog Day. Yeah, that was on. Oh yeah, Ghostbusters too. I forgot about Ghostbusters. Oh my goodness, that's true. So here we go, guys. Let's flip the screen around. I'm just going to make sure it's centered and that you can see my book here. I just have to get this around. So these are my sketches. As always, I do like little sketches of the project in my book. And so we're going to do some flower rings. I noticed somebody on in the Facebook group, the Wire Art and Jewelry Makers Club, had made this rose ring, and I thought it was so cute. So I looked up some tutorials on how to make it. So I'm going to start by just troubleshooting that one because I've never done it before, and then I thought I'd make a couple of daisy rings, and I have a few little beads and stuff that we're going to work with too. So I actually was trying to keep really compact, so all I brought today was my flat pliers, round pliers, and my ring cone. I left my cutters at home, but sometimes you can cut wire with if you have little skinny flat pliers, you can cut the wire with that. And so what I thought I'd do to start is try to make the rose ring. So I'm going to start with, this is 18 gauge wire. And what I wanted to do is I'm going to try 2 different methods of making the ring. So you want to cut a piece that's a decent size so you don't run out of wire. And I don't have my cutters, so I'm just going to cut it with these pliers. And if I don't get a chance to respond to comments this week, just please excuse me because I don't have my laptop. So you guys can definitely chat amongst yourselves as usual, which is awesome. I love it when you do that. So what we're going to do is, with the ring form, we're just going to take the ring form and just wrap it around where about at your size. So if you have a ring cone with sizing, that's much better. If you don't, just try it on your finger. And because I want this one to be adjustable, what I'm going to do is just hold it where I want the ring to end, and then just bend one end down. Okay, down like that. Okay, we want to bend it back. And then the same thing on the other side. So you might want to double check it's going to fit more or less on your finger. It is adjustable, so don't worry if it's not quite right. Oh, Larissa says, hello, Heather. I saw that comment. Hey, Larissa, how are you? Welcome to the live stream. So yeah, and like I said, feel free to chat amongst yourselves in the group, in the comments. I know some of you have gotten to know that you live in the same city and stuff, which is really cool. So see, for the adjustable ring, I'm just going to bend these back like this, and then you have like a little opening at the back, so it is actually adjustable. And this is very similar to some of the ring tutorials I saw on YouTube about how to make the rose ring. So, but I'm just doing it slightly different. I'm making it adjustable. So what you want to do is just look like that, and exactly at the opposite of end where you have these connected. How much wire am I using? I cut at least a foot long of wire. So I would say 12 to 15 inches of wire. So we're just going to, on the opposite end of where that opening is, put your thumb there and bend this up on a right angle. So you're going to have something that looks something like this. So one end is up, this is the center back, has an opening there, and then this little loose end here we're going to wind around. So we're going to put it back on the ring cone and then just wind that wire around. Now hopefully I can get this right, like how they did it on the tutorial, but as far as I could see, what they did was they just would bend one like this and the other one down like this. And I'm trying to think, I think they put them in the same direction. So, but the idea is you want to, I'm not sure if it was one way or one the other, but you want to kind of wrap, just keep wrapping them around. But the idea is sometimes you wrap it under like that. You do like little half turns, and then this one like kind of around like that. And the idea is you just alternate by bending one wire, okay, like around like that, and then the other wire. So that's all you're doing. Oh, I missed a comment. Sorry, guys. So we're just going to alternate these around, like kind of one way and another. And the idea is that these sort of represent the petals. And I can link up other tutorials for the rose ring below if you like. So this is sort of the idea. Laura said, just wanted to say hello, got to get back to editing. Oh, well, thanks for hopping on. That's awesome. And so what you can do now is you don't even have to, you could wrap these ends around the ring band, but I think what you could do is very discreetly just take one, just cut the ends, okay? Just cut the ends like that. And like I said, I wanted to be compact, so I didn't bring my cutters. I just brought my skinny round pliers. But if you pinch it enough, it's good to, it just breaks through. So Farrah says, hi, love all your videos. Thank you so much, Farrah. I caught that comment. That's awesome. And so then what you're going to do after that is you're going to have these little pokey ends, so you really want to just push them underneath. And the idea is that they're just hidden underneath, so you don't have to fuss around with really like winding them around too much, because they're going to be discreet. Now you see this, I didn't quite center it too well. It's a little off to the side, so that might take some little trial and error to actually get the rose centered. But the advantage of this is the ring is slightly adjustable, so if your finger expands or contracts or you have big knuckles, it's a good thing because it's got a little bit of give. So it's not perfectly centered, but it's not too bad. So there's one kind of rose that with just sort of this smooth wire. And then I saw another tutorial that was super cute, and I'll do this pretty well the same way that the other girl did it. Because I'm going to use a thinner wire, actually not going to be adjustable, this one, because and I'll cut a piece that's maybe a little bit longer. It's going to be maybe about 20 inches. So let's just cut a piece, and then so for this one we're going to take it on the ring form like this and just wind it around a couple of times. Because the wire's thinner, this is like a 20 gauge, but it's a thin 20 gauge wire. This is from Michael's craft store. So you're going to wind it around the ring form twice. Try it on your finger, okay? And when you have it the size that you want, we're just going to bend that up on a right angle and then bend this one around like a full turn around, okay? And then what I saw in the other video is she just takes these two wires and just bends them, like really just twists them together, and not necessarily that tightly, but just twist them loosely around. And you could even get, as you get out further, even bend them a little more loosely, okay? So we're just doing kind of like a little twist, like a corkscrew type of thing. So we're gonna go around like this, and maybe you don't have to do too much for now. Like, let's do about 2.5 to 3 inches. And like I said, this ring is not adjustable because I'm doing it with a thinner wire. So we have these twisted together, and then what you're going to do is just bend this on an angle, and then same thing, we're going to just twist it around and around and around. And it's actually really pretty, this one. You'll see it's got a lot more texture than the other one because the wires are twisted around. And then once you're happy with your ring, if you want it bigger, you can like just pull it back a bit and keep twisting them around. Say I decided I wanted it a little bit bigger, so let's just twist these a little bit more. So we have so it's going to be maybe more like 4 inches altogether of the twisted wire. They're kind of crooked, they're not super straight. But then you can keep winding it around just to get the rows a little bit bigger. Okay. And then when you're happy with it, yeah, see I did it a little bit crooked, but it's not too bad. So then when you're happy with it, you can go ahead and cut these ends. And like I said, I'm doing it with my pliers and not the cutters. The cutters will give a much cleaner cut. But if you're in a pinch and you need to cut your wire without cutters, just use your little skinny round pliers. So once you have that rows done, then you're going to just straighten it up. And actually the girl, one of the tutorials, a girl had used red wire, which was really pretty too. So Jay says he likes that. Yeah, this one's cool. When you twist the wire first, you'll see that it gives a completely different look than doing with the flat wire. It's just two different looks. It's very cool, and I love this design. It's very stylized, and you could probably even put a little bead in the middle, which would be super cute as well. So now I'm going to try one that's more like sort of a loose kind of flower type thing. Farrah says looks lovely, and Kathy says cute. Thanks guys, that's awesome. So let's cut a piece of wire. This one's more like a 20 gauge. This is my aluminum wire that I often use for samples and prototypes. I don't often make rings with the aluminum wire just because it's I don't like the idea of putting aluminum wire right on your skin. I use it for my earrings all the time, but for prototypes it's fun to use, and it's very easy to use, and it's inexpensive. Brandy says hello. Hey Brandy, how are you? So now for this flower, what I'm doing is this one here with a little spiral in the middle. So what I'm going to do for that one is actually use my larger round pliers. So here's some larger round pliers, and these are actually one of my favorite pliers. I bought these in Toronto many years ago, and I'm not even sure they were from a jewelry wholesaler. I think they were from a machine shop or something. So let's just go ahead and the idea is just to make a few loose petals. So the Kat's here. Hey Kat, in capital letters, how are you? So let's just go ahead and we're just going to form the flower like this. We're going to go around and just form the petals, and we're just going to see what it's going to do. I actually have I make some earrings like this as well, and I even make kind of scrapbook type embellishments with this design of flower. And what I do is I don't do scrapbooking, but it's mostly for greeting cards. So what I would do is like a flower silhouette and then do a watercolor background. I think I posted one in the Wire Art and Jewelry Makers Club the other day because somebody had posted a very pretty flower that they had done. And I'm afraid I can't keep track of who posts what in the group, but you guys post some amazing things. So here's like a kind of a stylized flower. Now I just have to remember how I was going to do this. I think if I push this end like at a right angle, so we have our flower and this goes back like a right angle. And what was I going to do? I think I want to, because I wanted to make a little spiral, but then I also wanted it to make a ring form. So let me think. You know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually bend this to the back. Okay, you guys know me well that I'm always troubleshooting, so I'm not quite sure if this is how I want to do it. I might even put a separate ring thing. So let me actually try it like this. I'm gonna try it this way. I'm gonna cut one end, okay, and I'm gonna use a separate band for the rings. So if we cut that like that, and then we're just going to pinch that in a little bit. And then the idea is we would want to do a kind of a spiral, but I have to figure out how I want to do it. So let me just try it like this. So if we go around and make like a little spiral thing, let's see how it's going to work. And I'm going to do some other ones with beads in the middle. So if we just put this like this and then just start to twist it around to make a kind of a spiral. To do a spiral, it's good to kind of hold it with your thumb and your finger. And we're just going to spiral it around and then see where we're going to go with that. See how we're going to finish it. Because we might, I think I'm just going to use a separate piece to, let me move these out of the way so you guys can see. I'll probably use a separate piece for the ring band. But what we'll do for now is just make the spiral. And then at some point, when your spiral's big enough, you can actually, once the spiral's big enough, you can just clip it, because we don't want a whole bunch of like weird wrapped around ends and stuff. So let's just clip that end and then just hide it underneath there. So that's kind of cute. Just the flower itself. In fact, you could make earrings like this too. So the idea now is we want to put it on some kind of ring. So I like the way it kind of sits up off the finger like that. So I don't want to bend these petals back. So what I'm going to do is get a thicker wire. This one's more, probably around a 16 gauge wire. So I'll just cut a few inch piece of that and then wind it around the ring cone. And I'm really sorry if I'm missing comments because I kind of can't see too well. I have a very bright fluorescent light in front of me, which is reflecting off my screen, so I can't see all if you guys are making comments, or sometimes I might miss them. So if I do, I'll look in the replay after and see if I've missed any comments, or feel free anytime to jump in the Facebook group and ask me questions. Oh, I saw that one. Kimmy says, beautiful ring, can't wait to make it. Awesome, that's fantastic. Yeah, and if you guys aren't on Facebook, you can never hesitate to message me, like email me at info@heatherboydwire.com, and I'll answer any questions that you have. So now the idea is you want to take this thicker wire to make a kind of a little support for the ring. So what I would do for that is you just go like this. So you have like the ring, and then the distance that the flower is going to take. Jay says, don't worry, we're just making fun of you. Yes, I love that. That's awesome. That's actually hilarious that you say that, Jay, because last night I was at a poetry reading event in St. Anne de Bellevue. It's called Twigs and Leaves. It's open mic poetry. I don't write poetry, but I love words and I love listening to poetry. And so a woman was writing an article for a local newspaper, and she took my picture, and it's actually someone that, I don't know, we had a misunderstanding at one point, so I think there's maybe a little bit of strange vibes between us, but she chose the worst picture of me to post on Facebook, and I'm like, oh, whatever. It actually, nothing bothers me anymore, because last year I had I was writing comics on Instagram, and a bunch of them went viral on Reddit for all the wrong reasons. So I'm very used to like having you know, a lot of abuse on the internet, but it doesn't bother me whatsoever, you know. What people think is not my problem. So here we go. So we have this little ring form here and the flower, and now the idea is we want to stick this on here. But let's see how we're going to get it to sit in place here. That's the tricky part, because we want to be able to, let's go ahead and see. I don't know if you see on the back where these little connection are between the, like the little intersections between the petals. So let's go ahead and bring one of these up. This is going to be a little bit tricky, but the idea is we want to bend this wire back, okay? And then we can just kind of clip the end. But let's see if it's actually going to sit in that little corner here. So we're going to see. Hopefully it's, yeah, I think it should be okay. So if we just want it to sit in between those petals like that. Okay, and then the same over here. We want it to sit in between. You might have to lift up the spiral a little bit to access that area. And then we're just going to bend that back. Okay, and we're just going to, it's tricky because the bend is sort of in the opposite way, it's sliding a little bit. So if you just help out that little end first, okay, and then just cut it so it's like seriously like 1/8 of an inch or not more than that. And then you want it to sit in this little intersection. So it is a little tricky to attach the ring, but if you pre-cut that little end so it'll sit in there. So now we've got, I don't know if you can see, we've got it sitting in the little intersections of the petals. And then we're going to, at this point, put it back on the ring form. And I don't want to bend I don't want to round the petals too much around the ring, because I kind of like the way they sit like on top. But you do want to adjust the band that it sits kind of like nicely like that. So let's just see how we go. And this wire is pretty soft, so it is, you have to be careful. It's a little bit fragile, but you could use a slightly thicker wire if you want. But there you go. So it's kind of cute, that one. I like it. Yeah, that's fun. And it just sits on your finger like that, and you can make it as big or small as you want. So I hope you guys make some of these ones. Miss Heather, that tool you use to cut the wire, please tell us. Yeah, so actually this is not really a tool I normally use to cut the wire. These are my round pliers. Brandy says, awesome, thank you. And the only reason I'm cutting the wire with these is because I was not too lazy, but I didn't want to bring my cutters, because every little thing I add to my backpack just adds weight, and I take the bus downtown, so I really didn't want to bring another tool if I could get away with it. So I'm cutting my wire with my pliers, which is not the best idea, but it's what I'm doing just to troubleshoot here. So now the other thing I wanted to do was to try to do a design where I take the wire. Ferris is lovely, and thank you so much. So I'm going to take the wire and try to do just a series of loops and see what happens. That was another sketch that I had done. So I'm going to show you the sketch that I had done. And so it's just like a big long row of loops. So I'm going to try that. If it doesn't do anything, we'll scrap the idea, but I thought it might be interesting to try. So I have my thicker round pliers, and the idea is just to do a bunch of circles, and we're going to see what happens. Andrew, so love that ring and very cute. Thank you. So let's see what we're going to do with this one. This might or might not work, because I was thinking it would be cool, like if you had, I don't know if any of you guys have any of those jigs, like templates to make wires. They used to call them wig jigs. I'm not sure what they call them anymore, but I know the artistic wire company, the Beadalon company, has them. So the idea is that you just, you would have a template with a whole bunch of pins, I guess, and you could do a whole bunch of circles like this. So I don't know if it's going to do anything, but the idea that I had was to make a whole series of these loops and then just turn them around and around and see what happens. Oh, Kathy has one of those. So you have one of the little wig jig things. So tell me, what do you use it for? I also call it wig jigs. Yes, Brandy calls them wig jigs. That's what they used to be called. I remember when they first came out, when those things first came out, I had already been making jigs out of wood blocks and nails. I'd been doing that for years, and then when wire art became really popular, you used to be able to buy them in the store. But when I started making wire art in 1989, nobody was doing it at the time, so I had to kind of troubleshoot my own things. So Brandy, you make pendants with them. That's cool. That's really awesome. So now the idea I had for this one, I even forget what I was thinking when I did this, but I was just thinking you could do something like this and then just kind of turn it around. But this one might be cute if you actually put a bead in the middle. So let me just think if there's something I could do. If I put a bead in here, what's going to be the best way to do it? Like, let me just complete this circle like this. And then if I bend this out a little bit, if I put a little bead in the middle, I'm going to see what I have. I have a little blue bead. Like, this is a 6mm bead. So let's see what happens if I put a little bead in the middle. That's kind of cute like that. We can see what we can do about that. So if I put it here, there's a few loops on that side. So what if I just go ahead and, I don't know if I want to cut the wire yet, so I think I'm just going to go ahead and bend it around a couple of times. Okay. And I mean, sometimes it's just in doing these samples that I come up with different ideas, so we'll see. Because I mean, you could just even do something simple like that. Like I could do that. My thought was to do a second row of circles, but I'm not sure if it's even worth it to do a second row, like how it's, you could, I mean, you could definitely do a couple of rows like that. See, I don't know, what do you guys like, a single row or a double row? Let me know quickly in the comments, what do you think would be better, because a single row would be very, like, kind of simplistic. Double row, okay, Brandy, executive decision, awesome. Okay, so let's just do it. We'll just do a double row of loops and see what it's going to do. And the idea is you just want to figure out a way to finish it, because that's really the hard part. Like sometimes you can come up with a, Kat says double row too. So sometimes it's really hard to double. Everybody says double. It's hard to come up with a way to finish things. Like creating the design isn't too bad, but sometimes to figure out how it's all going to hold together and not fall apart, that can be a little bit tricky. But so let's see, if we've done the double row, we're just going to wind it around, and then we want to make sure that it's sort of even. So if we've got like double, and then at some point, I guess it'll be around here that it would finish, something like that. I just want to make sure, maybe one more loop. So let's try one more loop and see what happens. So now the challenge is to know how to actually finish it off so it doesn't fall apart. So if we go like this, you can go in and add some wire after, but let's see what we do if we, oh, it's Allie's on. Allie, I haven't talked to you in so long. How are you? Oh my goodness. Allie is my friend from what used to be called YouTube Montreal, and now it's called Creator HQ. But Allie lived in Montreal, and now she moved away, and I'm so sad, Allie. I really hope you come back to Montreal one day really soon. Are you coming to the travel event? Let me know if you're coming to the travel event, because that's next week at the YouTube space. They're having a big event for travel vloggers, so that's awesome. Yeah, I've met so many interesting people through that network. So guys, what I've done is I've just put the wire through the loop, and then I'm going to just twist it around here where we kind of started. So like there's a double there, and then there'll be a double here. So then we want to kind of bend it around here like that. And then the thing is, if you've got some loose bits, you might have to go ahead and attach them somewhere else. But let's just see what we're going to do with this for now. Actually, it might be okay. I'm going to just go ahead and bring this wire through, and I'm just going to see what happens if I put it through this loop just to secure it in place. because the idea is you don't want to have any pieces like flipping up like that. So the same on this side, I'm going to take this side and loop it around. Okay. But the trouble is you don't want to break the wire either. If you're working with copper wire, it's going to be much more forgiving. Unfortunately, the aluminum wire, once you bend it too much, it can actually snap. So that's a bit of a drag. Okay, so we've have it, it's secure now, it's secured in place, but what I'm thinking is that's going to be too wide like this. So what I'm going to do is once I've secured it in place, I'm going to just cut the ends off. Okay, oh, George is going to find wire all over his floor. Oops, sorry about that, George. Anyways, apparently last week he found a few pieces, so it's all good. So we're going to just push these ends. So this way you could actually use a thicker wire to make the band, but I've made some kind of interesting little contraption here. It's actually not at all what I envisioned, but it's kind of cool. So it kind of reminds me of an earring design I made for the Flower of Life. I could maybe link that one up below too. So Brandy says she loves that. Well, Brandy, thanks so much for suggesting I do the double row of loops, because it's really, really cute. So now what I got to do is figure out how to put it on the ring form. So I think maybe it's the same as the other one. Like I could. So love it. Awesome. So other question, should it sit up like that, or should it wrap more around the finger? That would also make a nice pin. Yeah, it would definitely make a nice pin or earrings. But I don't know, do you think I should have it kind of sticking up? I don't know if you guys can tell what I mean, like sticking up off the side, or should it wrap more around the finger? I need either a straight out or a wrap in the comments below, so I know what to do with that. And in the meantime, I'll grab my wire for the ring. A little wrap? Okay, so let's see if we could give it a little wrap. And I'm going to just cut the wire for the ring form. So let's just take this. Kathy says wrap, and right, Mrs. Brandy. All right. Okay, so we're all in agreement. That's awesome. So to do the wrap, what you would do, and in fact, maybe you could even make it larger if you wanted to do a wrap. Maybe you could even do 3 rows depending on how big you make your loops. So what we're going to do now is just kind of push this around a little bit. Okay, and I had another couple designs for flowers, but what I'll do is I'm just going to do this many designs this week, and then I'll work on other flower designs for other tutorials. So yeah, if we wrap it around, it actually is kind of neat because some of these little loops stick up a little bit too. Oh, it's very, very pretty. Oh my goodness. I think I'm going to make this out of copper wire. I think I'm going to make a huge ring doing that. Awesome. Well, please, please, please share pictures if you make this ring. That would be fantastic. So now we're going to do it to make the ring band. We're going to do it the same way. So we're going to bend this one up. Okay. I don't want it too big, but let's just see how big we're going to have to make it to make the ring. So what you can do is put it on the ring form and figure out where you're going to have to bend the other side depending on the size of your ring. So to figure out how you're going to bend it to the other side, you've got it on there, flip it up a bit, and then just bend this up at a right angle so you know where to do it. Looks like filigree. You are totally right. It really does look like filigree. It's so cool. So that's thanks to you guys for all your input. I mean, I'm telling you, I get so many of my ideas from these live streams and from the YouTube group or the Facebook group. It's really awesome. So now we have our ring form like that. We're just going to stick this on either side, more or less, you know, centered if you can. And then all you have to do is hold it. I cut the ends a little short, so we're going to have to hold them with the pliers to back them up. Okay. So that one's backed up, and then this one too, we're going to hold it here and back that one up a little bit. Okay. And then you want to cut it like nice and tightly in there. And like I said, these are not my cutters. These are my pliers, only because I didn't want to bring my cutters downtown. So normally I would use my cutters for that, but the pliers work really well. And that's the thing with these really tiny end pliers. You have to actually be careful when you're working with wire, because if you pinch the wire too much, it will cut right through. So Brandy gets wire out to make this right now. Yes, I can't wait to see it. That is fantastic. There we go. So we have, there's the ring like that. And then of course, as always, we're going to just finish it off by putting it on the ring form. Jay says, I really like the idea of making lots of different ring sizes and different tops separately. Yes, earrings and pendants too. Yes. Oh, I can't read the rest of that comment, but it sounded good. But this, I love this design, Jay, because you can almost make any kind of motif and then just add a thicker band on to make the ring. Like the sky's the limit, or even sometimes you can buy a pendant. Even I bought like pendants and things in the dollar store and transformed them into rings as well. I remember one Christmas I bought some little wooden figures out of the dollar store and drilled holes in them and then created like little Christmas rings. So they're really, you can, sky is limit. The other thing I was going to try, but I'm not going to tonight, just to show you, I had bought these little rose flower beads, and they have a little hole in the side, so you can actually make rings with little flower beads as well. Actually, I could go ahead and do that super quick. Why don't I do that super quick? So we're just gonna get the these ones. I might be able to find where I bought these ones. I don't know if I could find it online. I bet Etsy sells beads like that, the little flower beads. I bought them at my wholesaler. So just to make a simple ring like that that's not adjustable, you would just do a double loop. And if the bead doesn't fit on the wire, I'll just forget it. But let's just try it. So you just would lift it up like that, okay? And then depending on the thickness of this, I got some at M8, super cool, and it all seems so easy. It is easy, Allie. Yeah, very easy when you have a little bit of practice. So now we're gonna bend this at a right angle like that, and we're gonna put this on here. Allie, do you have some supplies like this to make jewelry? So see, we just put that on the side like that, okay? And then we're gonna bend this down. You could do this with a regular bead as well. And then what you want to do is just make sure it's flat on there, and then bend this wire into the ring, into the double ring. Give it a complete, make sure that stays on there. Give it a complete turn around, okay? And then what you can do is make sure it's the size you want. And then if it's the size you want, you take this side and bend this around and through. I got the same bead from Michaels. There you go. So you could get these from Michaels as well. That's, yeah, Michaels has a lot of choice now. So now the only trouble with this at this point, it's flipping a little bit, which is okay, because once that's on your finger, it's not going to flip around. So actually, this is pretty cool. No, here, I left them in Mexico. Oh, you have your supplies in Mexico, so you'll have to start over again. You can go to Michael's and get stuff with the coupons too. They're really affordable. So you could either clip the ends like this for the flower, for this flower bead, or you can actually even take this and wind it around just to give it a little more oomph with a little bit of wire. And then once you've used your wire up, just wind it around the band. Okay, wind that one on that side, clip it off. And you could cut your wire a little longer so it actually can wind around more. And then you're going to take this one to this side, and same idea, wind it around a couple of times. How you want to wind it is totally up to you. You could keep it loose, you can make it very tight. So you've wound it around a couple of times. I would wind it more, but I've run out of wire. So I'm just going to bend it around like that. And this was a marathon tonight. I think we got a lot done. So there we go. So let's just give that a little cut, or I mean a little press with the flat pliers. Okay, we're going to press those ends down so they're not sharp. And then we're going to put it on the ring form and just wiggle it around a little bit. This one's not breaky, it's just a plastic bead. So there you have your little rose bead ring, which is super cute and easy. So let's see what we made tonight. We made our beautiful, thanks Brandy. So we made our funky do filigree type ring. We made our rose ring. We made this daisy ring with a spiral. And we made this kind of textured rose ring. And we made the adjustable rose ring there. So let me put them down on the table. You guys let me know which is your favorite ones. I'm going to put them down on the table. I'm going to bring the camera down so you can see them, and then I'm going to flip my screen. So let's just bring that down. So here we go. Let me just bring them down a bit. Okay, so we have, yeah, the rose. They're all beautiful. Thank you. So there's the filigree, the daisy, and the 2 roses. I'm actually super happy with them this week, and I really appreciate you guys gave some super good feedback on them. And what I'm going to do, the one in the middle, yeah, the one in the middle is fun too. It's sort of a simplified one. But I'll take a good picture and I'll put it on the community page. I'm going to flip the screen around. There we go. So yeah, I'll definitely, oh, lights in my eyes. What the best lighting is here. Well, that's not too bad. I'll take a picture of them and put them in the community section of the Facebook, no, of the YouTube channel, and I'll put them in the Wire Art and Jewelry Makers Club. Definitely. I'm just gonna get away from the light. It's pretty hot. Actually, I'm gonna just unplug this. I think we're not gonna run out of batteries. There we go. So Ali, I don't know if you've seen where I'm in George's office at the WeWork building. So there's the WeWork building down there. We watched a movie every Wednesday night. So if you're in Montreal any Wednesday night, we watch a movie every Wednesday, which is super fun. We watched Lost in Translation tonight. So so that's it, guys. I'm gonna say goodbye and thank you so much for watching the video, for staying on the live stream. If you're watching the replay, be sure to comment below and let me know which is your favorite ring. Next week, there's no live stream because starting tomorrow, we're doing 12 days of zodiac rings. So every day for the next 12 days, I'm going to post a new video on how to make zodiac rings. So Jay says, like them all. That's awesome. Well, thanks for hopping on, Jay, and catching the live stream this week. And I'm going to say goodbye to everybody, and we'll see you in the Facebook group on the community and on the community page. And Ali, we'll hope to see you soon in Montreal. So.